Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to another live stream. It's Friday evening. Someone somewhere is probably cracking open a beer, finishing work, starting their weekend in the right way. There's no Premier League football. No Premier League football this week, but the WSL is back. So if anyone's interested, the WSL kicks off in about, I think the program starts in about half an hour, which is good if you're into the WSL. If you're not, a lot of international football this week. Looking forward to a lot of that. A lot of international football. League One, League Two is still around. We have got a jam-packed live stream for tonight. Before we get into any football, and before we get into any of today's live stream, make sure you subscribe, you hit that Linktree link, like this video, run the likes up, smash the likes, all of that good stuff. Because there's a jam-packed, we're talking Champions League. We're going to be talking our best 11. What is our strongest 11? We're going to be talking about MARC GUIU. What impact can MARC GUIU have for us this season? What can he do? How can we make sure we get the best out of MARC GUIU this season? That is what we're going to be talking about. Before we do any of that, like I always like to do on these live streams, let's go to the latest news surrounding our football club. If you haven't already, make sure you're following our social accounts. As you can see, Linktree link is there. Hit that Linktree link straight to all of our social accounts. But let's start with some good news because there's been a couple of nominations. Enzo Maresca has been nominated for the Premier League's Manager of the Month award for the month of August. Well deserved. He's in amongst some good company. Very good company. David Moyes, you could say David Moyes might get it over Maresca. But I think Maresca's got to get his credit. You know, credit him where it's due because he's definitely done, started the season very well for us. But then you could say the same about Everton and David Moyes. You could say the same about Arne Slot. I can't really give the Sunderland manager too much praise, I'm going to be honest, because we all know that's not going to survive. They're not going to survive this season in the Premier League. But they have started their season very well. But let's hope Maresca does win the Manager of the Month award. I personally think he does deserve it. I'll be honest. I think he does. Let me just fix this lighting a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I do think he deserves it slightly. Over Moyes, over Slot. I think he's obviously, for me, Maresca's had to work tirelessly over the summer as well. Club World Cup, short break, couple of pre-seasons against Leverkusen and Milan, straight into the season. I would say possibly we've had the hardest running of games. Four London derbies in the short space of time. First 4 games of the season, played 3 of them already. So I think he's had the most difficult running as a manager out of those 4, if I'm being honest. But let's also talk about this because Esteval Willian, I mean, credit to him. First goal for Esteval Willian. As you can see, João Pedro straight behind him. I don't know did anyone see? I'm going to try and find it. João Pedro throwing up. I don't know if it's on our channel, but João Pedro was throwing up on the pitch yesterday. It was mental. Apparently he carried on. I didn't watch the game, but apparently he carried on. Here we go. This is crazy. I think he took a knock. I think he took a knock to the ribs. He ends up throwing up. It's crazy. I don't know what he was eating or drinking before, but man, it's crazy. It doesn't look too bad anyway. It doesn't look too, from what I've been reading, it's not a massive injury or nothing like that. It's literally just, it's literally just, I don't know, maybe the heat. I don't know what to put it down to. But let's go back to this goal. Esteval Willian. The boy can do no wrong. Overhead kick. Played amazing. I got to see a couple of the highlights from what he did in the game. I think we've got ourselves a gem. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. I think we've got ourselves. People are talking about Rio Enganoma. They're talking about Max Dowman from Arsenal. I think he's head and shoulders above all of those. I think Estevan Willian is the best young player, just behind Lamine Yamal. Some might say that's a crazy shout. Some might say it's a bold shout. But I think Estevan Willian is one step behind Lamine Yamal. Take from that what you will. Take from it what you will. But at that age, for him to be playing the way that he's playing, I don't think there's many players better than him at his age right now. I really don't. I don't think there's many players at his age that are playing football like he is. Everyone's raving about Max Dowman, Rio Enganoma, who is a very good player. Obviously, we know him from his Chelsea days. But Estevan Willian is a level above Max Dowman, Rio Enganoma, any of the other younger players that you want to mention. He's head and shoulders above them. He's playing as the number 9 for the Brazil national squad. I'm going to say it again. He's playing number 9 for the Brazil national team. And he's doing it well. Let's look at some of the previous number 9s for Brazil. Let's find it. Let's find out. Because Estevan Willian is an amazing player. He's an amazing player. Here we go. So, of course, there's some iffy names in there. But even talking Gabriel Jesus, Alexandre Pato, Fred. But you see this guy here, Ronaldo, Adriano. Like it's mental. It's mental. He's up there with those. My worry with Estevan Willian, if I'm being 110% honest, is that I personally feel like we're going to lose him at some point in his career. Because some players are going to outgrow the club. And if a team like Barca, Real Madrid, one of those teams come knocking, I'm pretty sure you go, especially if you're from South America. So I think we need to enjoy him. And this is why I said we need to play him as a first team regular in our squad now. Because he's too good to be sat on the bench. He's running ring around players at an international stage at the age that he is. He's too good, Estevan Willian, to be on the bench for us, to be on the bench for Brazil. He's running rings around some very experienced centre-backs. So all I can hope and pray is he doesn't get injured in the next game. And we keep him, we get him back and he's fully fit for Brentford, because I think he has to start in that Brentford game. But let me know what you think in the chat. Don't forget to subscribe, like if you haven't already. Run up them numbers. Yeah, it's mental. Estevan Willian. João Pedro as well did a bit of an interview whilst he's away with the Brazil squad, talking about his good mate Cole Palmer. It says here that João Pedro, Cole Palmer. When I came to Chelsea, I was a little bit scared about how he was going to react because I was the main guy at Brighton. I know Chelsea will be different. I said to Cole, I'm here to help you. I like that. I like the attitude of João Pedro. I like the fact he's coming and he hasn't sort of tried to be dominant in terms of, doesn't want to try and be the loud voice. He just wants to see us win. He wants to contribute so much. More on an interview that he did as well. When I arrived in the USA, Enzo said, I want you as number 9 in training. He says, João, you need to be more clinical in this part. Make a touch to the right here. I love this kind of coach. If you don't get feedback, it's difficult to improve. And also, one thing as well, I think I read in another interview that he did that he said he's adapted to Maresca's training because it's very similar to his training regime that he had at Brighton. So I think he's just which is why I think he's just walked into our team and he's done really well. And he's done it really easily. He's not struggled. He's done it really well. So I think, yeah, I think look, we have to be honest. I think João Pedro coming in, it was always going to be question marks about him for the price and the fee. But I feel like he's proven that he's a natural number 9. He's a natural goal scorer. He's getting into the right channels, the right places. He's stretching out the defense. So he's doing everything right. He's doing everything right that he needs to, in terms of what we need from a number 9. We're going to talk about MARC GUIU a little bit later, but let's get into this because I want to talk about the Champions League. I've got a couple of things I want to read off before we do that, though, because I know there's a lot of talk about Buonanotte not being involved in the squad. There's rationale behind it. There is rationale behind it. There is a thought process as to why he's not in there, and it all comes down to basically the rulings that we have to abide by. It's as simple as that. But let me explain some things to you about the Champions League. Let me read these things off. So the Champions League consists of 36 teams, as we know. If you're new to this, or you've been watching Conference League football like me for the last couple of months, let's just remind ourselves. So there's 36 teams that have qualified. There's a league phase. There's no more group stages from, I think it was A to F. It is literally 36 teams are now in one group stage of the Champions League. Some big teams in there: Ajax, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, Benfica, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan, Juventus, Liverpool, Napoli, PSG, Real Madrid, Tottenham. Tottenham are not a big team, but you know what I mean. They're in there. They might be a big team now that Daniel Levy's gone. So 36 teams qualified for the league phase. Now, out of that, the format, all 36 teams are placed in a single league table. Each team plays 8 matches, 4 at home, 4 away, against opponents drawn from the 4 pots based on the UEFA rankings. Now, of course, that's already happened, so we know who we're playing. We'll talk about that in a minute. No team plays another from the same country in this phase, and each faces 2 teams from each of the pots. So, of course, the match days are spread across September 2025 to January 2026. Standard 3 points, 1 for a draw, 0 for loss. Tiebreakers include goal difference, goals scored, and away goals, and all the rest of it. And here's where we get a bit tricky now, because we've got some really, I don't want to say difficult fixtures. I think difficult's the wrong word, but we've definitely got some tough fixtures in the Champions League. Now, before I get into that, actually, did anyone see the 4 home games that we have, which we're going to get into? The 4 home games that we have. If you're a season ticket holder, and I believe it's even more if you're a member, you've got a membership, it's £125 a ticket. £125 a ticket for 4 matches. It's £500 for 4 matches. And one of those matches is against Paphos. No disrespect to Paphos, but I don't think there's many people that want to pay £125 to see them turn up at Stamford Bridge and get turned over. It's crazy. It's mental. How's the club getting away with that? It's mental. Mental prices for Champions League. But listen, that's why I don't go to Stamford Bridge anymore, because I'm not giving these guys my money. It's not happening. But let's get back to this. So Champions League. We start our Champions League running for the games that we've got against Bayern Munich, Allianz Arena, 17th of September. We then go away. So we're at home to Stamford Bridge, Benfica. Be a difficult game, Benfica. Be a difficult game. I don't think we can. I don't think we should rule them out. They're a very, very good, challenging team from Portugal. The tricky thing with these now as well, which I want to talk about as well. So after Bayern Munich, we go to Old Trafford, 2 away games back to back. It's not. I mean, it is what it is. But then this is tricky. Thankfully we got 2 home games, but playing Benfica and then playing the champions Liverpool straight after. Yeah, it's not something I'd want. But we then have the international break after that. We then have Stamford Bridge fixture again, Ajax, which I think we can beat them. I mean, Ajax have obviously got history. They're a very good established European team. But I think we can beat them, and I think we should be beating them. So I'm not too concerned about that. But these other fixtures now, I am concerned about a little bit. Now, Karabag, sorry, I'm not. The only thing I will say about this game, this fixture, is it's probably the most trickiest in terms of why you can see the 2 fixtures sandwiched beside it, is the one that's tricky in terms of distance to travel, distance to get there, looking at the time that we're playing as well. So just things like that. I think logistic wise, it's probably not the most. It's the most difficult one. It's the one that is the easy. It's the easy one. If you're going to put £1,000 on us to win a game this season, I think it's Karabakh. I think you should put it on Karabakh, because we should be beating them at least 4-5-0, clean sheet, everything. We should be doing that with ease. Now this is where I said it gets a little bit tricky, because we then have Lamine Yamal's Barcelona coming to Stamford Bridge. We got history. Let's not forget the game. Didier Drogba. It's a disgrace. Let's not forget Ronaldinho's amazing goal. We got history with these lot. Out of all the fixtures in the Champions League, the 25th of November is the one game I am looking forward to. And it's the one game I want to see 3 points from. I don't care about the other fixtures. I don't really care. We should be beating all these other teams. Even Bayern Munich. Even with Nicholas Jackson. Even with Harry Kane. We should be beating Bayern Munich. But this game here, Barcelona, 25th of November, 8 p.m, Stamford Bridge, under the lights. They should play that game where we were robbed. The biggest robbery in European football. They should play that match to that crop of players that we've got now before this game, the night before, to make them understand we can't lose to Barcelona. One of the corruptest, dirtiest clubs in European football. But I'm looking forward to the fixture. We then have Atalanta away, which again I think is going to be a difficult game away. Very dark horse team, Atalanta. They've obviously done very well European tournaments before, so we have to bear that in mind. And then we've got Paphos at Stamford Bridge. Again, a very easy game. We should beat them. But again, we saw in the Conference League, it wasn't as straightforward as just turning up and playing teams that we thought were going to have lesser ability than us. We have to make sure that we win those games. Because ideally, we want to make sure that we qualify through the top ranking teams. We don't want to be going to that knockout phase where we've got to play additional matches after these set of fixtures in the Champions League. You want to get into that immediate, have a little bit of respite, a bit of a break from playing the European matches. You don't want to be going into those second, the 2-legged ties and more traveling, all the rest of it. So you want to make sure that the games that you can win. And I'll be honest, I think the two that stand out to me in terms of difficulty is Napoli and Barcelona. Bayern Munich, we should beat them. I know people are going to say they're Bundesliga's champions and they have Harry Kane, but I'm telling you from now, it's just Bayern Munich. Napoli worries me a little bit more because I feel like they've got a bit more threat. We know who's there. The man that's name will never be mentioned again on this channel, but we know that they are a threat. And the 2 games that we should win might actually turn out to be the most difficult games just because of the way that they will play in terms of being very defensive, maybe allowing us to have a lot of possession of the ball, hard to break down. And we know what we're like against low block teams. We're not the best, so they might make it difficult. And that game against Karabakh, obviously being away, that does play into the game itself. The whole atmosphere for the game could be really challenging for some of these players. But I think that's where I said when we went into the Conference League, why I was happy we was in the Conference League, because to be fair, I feel like that's definitely built, and even winning it as well, I feel like that's definitely made some of these, it's character building. It's made some of these players understand what it means now to go into those games, especially those difficult games, Paphos and Karabag, even the Ajax game, going to Atalanta, understanding what it means to go and play in some of these stadiums that aren't in England. It's a lot of sort of character building. I think last season will definitely play into a big factor for some of these younger players that aren't necessarily, who haven't experienced European football before, and I think this will help them. Just in terms of the qualification, so after the league phase, teams are ranked 1st to 36. Top 8 qualifies directly to the round of 16 as seeded teams. Positions 9 to 24 enter the knockout playoffs, a two-legged round. Teams 9 to 16 are seeded and play teams 17th to 24th, with seeded teams hosting the second leg. So this is why I'm saying you want that. You want to make sure you're in that seeded group. You want to be in the top 8. You want to be in the top 8. It works to your advantage. Everything works for you. You want to be in that top 8. The bottom 12, now I don't know if they've changed this. I'm pretty sure the bottom 12, they used to go into the other European competitions, but I'm sure they've changed that. I think they've changed that. And also as well, we have to remember, if we don't win and we go into that knockout stages, it changes the whole pathway to potentially get into the final of the Champions League. It changes the pathway of getting to the Champions League. For me personally, you play who's in front of you. We got to do that in the Club World Cup. You just play who's in front of you, but if we're being honest, you want to avoid some of the bigger teams. And we've got some of them in our group. We've got some of them in the group already, but then there's other teams that you just want to avoid. And I'm talking about the Real Madrids and all the rest of it. You want to avoid those. You don't want to be playing those in those knockout games. You want to avoid them. Get to the final. Make sure we get there. Anything can happen. I said this last week. When you get into that knockout stage, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You could finish 6th, 7th, and go on to win the Champions League. Liverpool were top of the Champions League last season in that group of 36 and got knocked out and didn't win anything. So finishing first doesn't mean anything, but being in that first 8 100% means something. It means something. We've got to be in that first 8. We have to be in the first 8 to even give ourselves a chance. To even give ourselves a chance to progress out of that last 16. Now, I want to talk about Facundo Buonanotte because he wasn't included in our Champions League squad. And I want to give just a bit of understanding as to why. Because there was a lot of outrage. And I was like, what's the problem? I don't agree with this loan in the first place. I don't think we needed to go and get a player from Brighton on loan to include him in our Champions League squad. I think we've got enough cover from that area of the position that he plays in for other players to fulfill those roles. But it does say, so I'm going to read a bit more here. So it does say that he was omitted from the Champions League squad for the rules and financial penalty. Now, of course, we had to make sure, and we have been approved now. We've passed all the financial obligations to enter into the Champions League. That was all confirmed a couple of days ago. But it does say here that the Champions League squads are split into List A, which is up to 25 senior players with a minimum of 8 locally trained, 4 club trained, 4 association trained. If you play Football Manager, you probably know all of this already because you just know it. List B, unlimited under 21 players who've been with the club for 2+ years. So that's the first thing already for Buonanotte. If a club lacks enough locally trained players, List A is reduced. So again, we're fine in that aspect of things as well. So Buonanotte, who was born 2004, so he's 20 as of today. He's 20 years of age. Doesn't qualify for List B as a new signing. So he's not been with us for 2 years. List A was already at capacity with priorities. So other areas of the team was fulfilled by the list. Simple as that. Chelsea faced a UEFA fine, which is up to 31 million euros for breaching financial regulations, which risked further squad limitations. So when all this thing happened, when we signed him, the intention, I think, was to actually try and include him in the A list. Things changed. We had to bring back certain players. They've had to be added into the team. And that's what it comes down to. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I still, as I said the other day or yesterday, I still don't understand why we brought him in. I still don't. And I think he said in his, when he signed for us in his press conference or his sort of promo video that he was excited to play in the Champions League. So I get it. There's a lot of frustration, but that comes with, maybe that's one of the selling points for him to come on loan, but that's unfortunate. Surely as Chelsea fans, we understand that our players that are signed to us, permanently signed to the club, have to be put as presidents to players that are on loan. I don't understand the outrage. I'll be honest, I don't. But the list involves this. So our list of players that we've taken, let's see if we can find the full list. Because I think we've taken the squad that actually makes sense to take. The squad that we've taken to play in the Champions League, for me, is a squad that we should be. I don't understand what the problem is. I really don't. So here's the A list. This is the A list of players that we've taken. So we've taken, as expected, we've taken Robert Sanchez, Jurgensen, Marco Correa, Tossen, Badiashile, Colwell has also gone. Now, of course, Colwell with the big injury, I'm sure we've brought him into that squad for the latter stages. Maybe they think he might recover early. I don't know. I also think you have to have so many players that have trained, so maybe that's part of the quota to make sure that they comply with the rules and regulations as well. Jarell Hato, Trevor Chalobah, Reece James, Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Gittins, Sugo, Andre Santos, Moises Caicedo, Pedro Neto, Liam Delap, João Pedro, MARC GUIU, Estevao, and Garnacho. Now, I think Buonanotte would be making that squad had MARC GUIU, or would he? Because to be fair, I don't know, but maybe he makes it based on the fact that MARC GUIU would still be at Sunderland if we didn't recall him, and he becomes part of the squad. But I generally think, is there any need to take Buonanotte with that squad that we've got there? I don't think there is. I don't think we even needed to consider putting him into the squad. I don't know where he adds the value. I really struggle to understand what value. And this is not me disrespecting the player at all, because I've watched him many times before for Brighton and for Leicester last season. He's a good player. He's a very good player, actually, but I don't think he's going to get game time for us. I don't know where he fits in. It's like school started and you're the new kid in the school. We've all made mates already. We're all mates, and you've come in 3 weeks later. We're already mates. You're gonna have to either just go and play on your own, or just understand that we'll call you to come and play football when we want you to come and play football, sort of thing. It's one of those situations. It's not. It's just a strange setup for him, and it's unfortunate that he's come to the club, probably being reassured he's going to get Champions League football and all the rest of it. But we have to prioritize MARC GUIU in this situation. It's as simple as that. I don't understand why there's confusion amongst the fan base. I really don't. We have to be seriously, if we want to seriously compete, we have to have MARC GUIU in there, because we need cover. The whole reason he's come back, MARC GUIU, is because we need cover for Liam Delap, João Pedro. Nicholas Jackson's gone now. Christopher Nkunku's gone. They would have been two options, maybe to play up front as the 9. They're no longer here. So I think we have to seriously be honest and say that It's not that big of a deal that Buonanotte is not part of this squad. I think it's just overreactions, isn't it, from the fans? We do like to do that as Chelsea fans. We like to overreact, and yeah, I don't know why we do that. Why did we do that? What's the point in doing that as Chelsea fans? I really don't. But I do think we can go far in the Champions League. I do think we can go far in the Champions League. I think, like I said, there's some really tough teams in there, and we've got some really tough fixtures. But I do think we can go far. Let's just have a look at some of the other teams in there. The only thing that concerns me about going into this Champions League is just, and I said it, I keep saying it on every stream, I must sound like a scratch record, but not having a solid goalkeeper, for me personally, is mental. It's mental. We needed a Donnarumma, Ederson, that sort of player. That's what we needed. That's what we needed. That's what we needed. We haven't got that. There are some difficult games in here. I mean, look, I'm looking at like Juventus, Dortmund. I think Real Madrid will walk a lot of this Champions League this season. I think they've got a good manager in Xabi Alonso. They've got good players. They've got Trent there now, Mbappe, Vinicius Junior. The list goes on. This will be an interesting game. Liverpool, Atletico. I think actually Liverpool would play Real Madrid at some point. I don't think Trent will be playing in that game. City, Napoli, another big game, tough game. This will be an interesting game. Bit of history between the two clubs as well. Obviously, Newcastle in the Champions League this season as well. This is an interest. I mean, that's just a tasty game. Barcelona versus PSG against Paris Saint-Germain. Tasty game. Very tasty game, actually. What date's that? The 1st of October. It's just over a month till we see Barcelona versus PSG. That's going to be an interesting game. Newcastle Benfica should be a good game. Juve versus Real Madrid. Liverpool, Real Madrid. In my head, I'm just trying to think, who can I see coming out on top of the league? If I'm honest, it's hard to tell. Obviously, anything can happen, but there you go. Arsenal, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have got some tough games. I mean, I've just been looking at their fixtures and playing Arsenal. Now they've got their, they got Gyökeres there as well. They got a good striker in him. Bayern Munich plays Sporting. Some tough fixtures in there. There's some tough fixtures, some really tough fixtures. But we just got to be confident. I think we just got to be confident that we can win. I think if we don't think we can win those games, then I don't know. I don't know what to say. We should be winning. We should be winning those games, 100%. But let's talk MARC GUIU. Let's talk MARC GUIU, because MARC GUIU recalled, whatever you want to call it. He's been recalled from Sunderland. He's now part of the Chelsea squad. I'll be honest, I think this is probably, for me personally, this is one of those moments where, and I think I said this yesterday, that we messed up completely in this transfer window. We absolutely messed up in the transfer window. Because I said yesterday, and I still think this, we should not have let Nicholas Jackson go without bringing in a suitable replacement, which I think was going to be Conrad Harder. And we've let Jackson go. We've let Christopher Nkunku go. What I like about MARC GUIU, and I think we forget this a lot of the time as well, is that MARC GUIU is a Barcelona player from before who's part of the youth setup there. He scored, I think, did he not score like the earliest goal? I think he scored like an early goal, like 23 seconds. It's like 23 seconds into the game. He came on, I think it was against Bilbao, and he scores a goal after 23 seconds. I think it was the winning goal. This is a player that I think scored a hat-trick for us last season in the Conference League. He's 6'2", very, very strong, holds up the ball very well. I actually think we've done the right thing by bringing him back. Very, very good option in terms of the 6 million release clause that we paid for him from Barcelona. I'm impressed with him. I'm impressed with him. I think the fact he went over, I think he scored a goal recently for Sunderland while he on his short spell away from the club. I think he's going to give us some good depth. I think MARC GUIU gives us some good depth in terms of what we need. You know, MARC GUIU will suit the way that we play in terms of that pressing style that Maresca likes from us as well. Like I said, he's very good at holding up the ball. That hold-up play that he's got is very good as well. He can link up with Cole Palmer, Estevao, Gittins, Neto. And I think what also MARC GUIU will be able to do, which I think we're going to have to do a lot this season, just looking at some of those fixtures that we had before up on the screen, is he's going to have to be the player that comes in and we play him against, I don't know, Burnley. We play him against Sunderland. You know, we give him those opportunities to get some minutes in the Premier League. I think we're going to have to rest João Pedro. We're going to have to rest Liam Delap. And I think I said this before. I said it before that it made sense to. I don't think we needed to rush out and buy a striker. And I agree. I still agree with that statement. I don't think we needed to go out and get a striker, because what does that then mean if we bring in a Conrad Harder or we go and get another striker? If Liam Delap's only out for 4 weeks, and 2 of those weeks, as I said a couple of days ago, is part of the international break, what does that mean for the new striker that comes in? If Liam Delap comes in, João Pedro, one of those gets injured, we know that we've got some cover there with MARC GUIU being the third choice striker at the club now. He might even get a run out against someone like Paphos or Karabakh. Give João Pedro and Liam Delap a rest for a night. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not against it. I think MARC GUIU has. I mean, he's still young, so he's got a lot to still prove. But the games that we got to see of him in the Conference League last season, against lesser opposition than a Napoli or a Barcelona, but I think he can still do it at that level. I think he can still do it at that level. I really do. I think he can do it at that level. So not against that, not concerned by it. I think it's I think it's good. I really do think it's good for him to be able to be in that squad and show that he's able to do what we know he can do. Get the ball, put it into the back of the net, make sure when you get your chance, you take your chance. That's all we can ask from him. That's all we can ask. This is the low risk solution to Liam Delap. Going out and spending 40 million, 50 million, 30 million on a striker didn't make any sense. Recalling MARC GUIU makes complete sense. Makes complete sense. And to be honest, I think he's got a higher ceiling than certain players that we've let go. Christopher Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson. I think MARC GUIU's ceiling's a lot higher. I liked what I got to see of him in the Conference League. He knows where that back of the net is. I just think he needs a run of games. And I think that Sunderland move would have been brilliant for him. I think he would have hit that ground running, scored plenty of goals, not saying to win games, but definitely contributed a lot more than we probably expected him to at Sunderland. But of course, we need him back at the club. We need him back at the club.
Yeah.
We need him back at the club. So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I think we need him back at the club. So, but let's just quickly wrap up here with this. squad builder on here. Because I think we need to see what our best squad is. So I'm going for Sanchez in goal. I think we'll go for Reece James. Right back. We're going to go Cucurella as our left back. I don't know who could be our best centre back. I think I'm going to have to go Tosin as our best centre back with Wesley Fofana. We need to change the formation. Let's change our formation. Let's do 4-2-3-1. I think Moises Caicedo has to be in the midfield with Enzo in the midfield. Gonna put João Pedro. Who do we go with Cole? Should we go with Cole Palmer? What am I doing here? What, is he not on there? Oh, we can't have a team without him in. We can't have a team without him in. What, is he not on there? Let me just check he's on there. He should be on there. He's not on there. Well, I'd have Esteval Willian in the team, but they're saying I can't have Esteval Willian in the team, which is annoying. So we'll go for Pedro Neto instead. But Esteval Willian has got to be, for me, he's got to be in there with the team, in with a shout. I think that's our strongest squad. I feel like that's our strongest squad. I feel like that's the squad that I think I'd go with. I think if everyone's fully fit, I think that's our strongest squad. Of course, Esteval Willian, for me, potentially would come in here. I don't know why he's not on here, but he should be on here. Esteval Willian would go on the right. I would then move Pedro Neto to the left. Of course, we can also change now that we've got options here. We can change and change him over to to get to what's his face, Garnacho. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, let's just not give him a name. Let's not give him a name. But yeah, you could change him. You could change him to Garnacho could play there as well on that side. So I think we've got a really good chance in this Champions League. I really do. I think we've got a really good opportunity now to just make sure that we don't let things get to us in games. We don't lose our heads. We win the games we're expected to win. As I said, for me personally, Napoli, Barca are the two difficult games, the two in there that I think we might not be able to. We might struggle against those teams. But Bayern Munich, Ajax, Paphos, Karabag, Atalanta, I'm going to put in that conversation, I think, as well. We should be beating them. We should be beating them, hands down. No ifs, no buts. We should be beating them. We should be beating them. But let me know what you think. Don't forget, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, all of that good stuff. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit that Linktree link in the description as well. And we'll be back soon with another video.